changed. It's not a requirement. I just wanted you to know that since you saw that, I could, turn some of these like this, put up to the scanner as well. So back on the scan screen here, I can choose the type. So remember, all of our ballots are the same. A precinct 101 ballot is identical whether it was by mail, in precinct, in person. And this is what's letting the system know this is the category of voting that it is. So I'm going to be counting this as an absentee ballot. And when we set up the election, I can change the wording of these. If I wanted it to be by mail, in person, and precinct voting, I can totally do that. But these are just kind of our stock sources here. So we'll start the scanning process. And I'm getting an image, a real-time image over to the side. It's kind of a low-res image. Really what I'm looking for here is to make sure that the scanner head isn't dirty or something like that. If I was getting a streak, a big line through every ballot, I know I'd want to wipe down the scanner glass or something like that. So ballot scanned successfully, 22. So here's kind of where I do get the numbers. It says sheet scanned was also 22, meaning we have a single sheet ballot. We could do multi-sheets, but this is a single sheet ballot. And 0 sheets were rejected. So I can view the report at this point, and this is the report that I would print and attach to the batch and go put it on the shelf. This lets me know the precinct of every ballot, the scan order, what language it was, because that's helpful in identifying a ballot in a batch sometimes, all of those things going through. But at this point, in our process, our kind of ideal scenario, you can of course tweak this based on your procedures, but this would now leave the room, be put in storage, and everything's going to be adjudicated on. And we would save the batch. Now, one thing I will point out here, it does say view rejected images. So if I did have one of these that was rejected for some reason, it was just rendered unreadable, the barcode was ripped through or something like that, I could view the image. I can't view one right now because there are no rejected images, but I could see that image. I would be able to know what precinct it was, maybe look at the marking pattern, some sort of distinguishing feature that lets me find that ballot more quickly and pull it out of the batch. Because I can save a batch, even if like one of these ballots was rejected, I could still save all of the good ones, pull the rejected ballot, and either fix it or put it in another batch for scanning later, and it'll still save and commit all of the other images to the database. Something that we see happen sometimes is that a ballot ends up going through folded over and it rejects that page, but the rest of the batch is fine. You want to just be able to pull that ballot out, put it in the next batch straightened out, and still move on.
Is there a way to customize that report? I mean, the ballot scans number cumulative per ballot style rather than individual line-free sheets?
I don't think so. That's not we could put that in as like an enhancement, but it's not something that you can do right now. So we'll save this batch, and then now it'll appear, those 22 ballots will be in my batch here. By the way, as I go and do demos, I delete the batches from the previous demo, so that's why when I delete a batch, it's always in the memory as being deleted, so that's why it jumps from batch 1 to batch 14, just FYI. Batches 2 through 13 are in the memory as being deleted batches, just in case someone's paying attention to the details there. You guys did a great job. Looks like every single ballot has a voter intent issue in it, so nicely done. But this is still the process where I would say let's go through it on a filter basis, see if there's any blanks first. No blank ballots. And by the way, I can stack as many of these filters on top of one another as I want. So if I'm wanting to just look at maybe I'm not even in resolution mode, but I'm in just review once I've scanned everything and resolved everything, but I just want to look at, precinct 704 ballots. I can put precinct 704, show me anything that's been user resolved if I want to get down to a specific contest or something like that. But I can stack as many of them on top as I need. So we'll do overvotes. So knows it. Really, nobody overvoted? Oh wait, yes. Everyone overvoted. So yeah, this person did a nice job. So this teal color is a write-in. So it is bringing up other issues on any ballot that does have an overvote. So I'm seeing all of the ballots that have overvotes, but I can also see the other issues on that ballot as well. We'll talk about write-ins in just a minute. So here's an example of I have no idea what the resolution board would do. I would look to you all to say what would go on in this situation. If you got this ballot currently, what would you do?
We would just leave it however the scanner counted us out is, because you can't determine voter intent.
Okay, so with this, you would accept it, and it's just accepted as an overvoted contest. So we worked through blanks, we worked through overs. We can go back through and go through all those in a minute, but I want to shoot right
Just do
into
a couple more.
couple more. Mark says couple.
Yeah, I get an idea.
So like this one is a perfect example of, yeah, like there's no voter intent there at all. So we count it as overvoted, and it's user accepted as an overvote. By the way, it does say, kind of spelled out over here, so you can say this contest was read as overvoted and the user accepted as overvoted. So it's kind of showing that it really is being counted as an overvoted contest. We'll go a little further down and grab over here. That one looks the same. Here's a good example. So in this case, would you remake that ballot?
We would.
Yeah. So here it's just a single total. And now we're good to go. We didn't have to touch it, didn't have to reprint it, anything like that. Is that good?
Does Hamilton County do this now? Do you know, or like, do they have a process, or this isn't available yet for them? Or how?
No, this is what they do. So this is our second generation of, they do this process now. And you know, we're going through each one of these
Yeah.
individually. You know, they do, during their pre-sort, they kind of sort out some issues that makes it easier. You guys, obviously, everyone wanted to see what a mistake would look like.
Right.
I mean, their overvotes are just not drastic, right? They don't have a drastic amount of overvotes that they're going through, certainly on a daily process, and they certainly don't have that many that they have to take to the board.
Yeah.
So, you know, while we're trying to really identify and go through every possible scenario, they just don't deal with a lot of overvotes. They're more concentrated on the write-ins. That's what takes more of their time using this system. But yeah, they have our earlier version of this, which really works the exact same way.
Yeah, I don't think at least mine isn't, the hang-up isn't on how we're gonna choose what that scenario is. I think the hang-up is we've never done anything without a ballot.
We've always had a paper, like the remade and the original are married together, kept together. So we always can point to that, show people whatever it is, and not had an electronic
Yeah.
version of what that is.
We're trying to get with the times, like
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
like how
But
this
it-
works. Like it's,
Well, and I think, something that speaks to that, is it's gonna come down to a preference for you guys, right? Are you willing to make that change? But if you look at the state of Washington and the state of Oregon, most of the choices where they do, you know, they are absentee, not absentee, but they're by mail across the entire, both their states. And all of them are moving to a more software solution. And it comes down to time it takes for remakes, costs in doing remakes, and then while it seems really weird to you guys to make a new, you know, you wanna make a new ballot and show what the paper ballot looked like, the amount of mistakes could be made during that remake are big, and will the scanner read it the same way coming through the next time? While it feels like it should, it may not always. So, it really is gonna come down to a process change for you guys.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up at the same place, but you're right, you're not gonna have that physical ballot there, but you're gonna have the image of the physical ballot. And that's gonna be the big difference, right?
And it's a shift in your thinking, because right now you're introducing a new piece of paper into the process. So of course you need to have the other piece of paper, and you need to have them side by side. But in this scenario, you're not introducing that other sheet of paper. So to see the ballot, I mean, you can just go in here and say hide all the annotations, and that is the ballot. And if you need to physically go get that piece of paper, it's, you know, batch 14, scan order 14. and there it is. We're not eliminating the fact that you'd be able to have that piece of paper.
Yeah, I'm sorry. go ahead.
No, I was just saying, this is just me, I actually was under the impression that we weren't allowed to do this in Ohio yet,
Oh, no, you're definitely allowed to, you're allowed to do
so we are allowed.
it. By law, you're allowed to do it. Because we do, I mean, well, I guess Dominion doesn't have a lot of products, it's still the old TSX stuff that they bought. But Dominion has much the same, it's a software process, Clear Ballot is a software process, I don't know about Unison. But-
Yeah, we're just still trying to wrap our minds
Yeah.
around
No,
it.
please
because,
do. This
You
is-
know, we weren't sure if Cam wasn't for sure was like actually doing this. I know that, you know, we've had conversations before about comparing our remake policies, but that was basically how we made the decision, not how we actually processed it. Cause,
Right.
you know, we have a different system and.
No, I'll be honest, this will be your biggest change, right? In how you deal with it. But, it's not gonna be as drastic as what you're seeing up here, right?
Yeah.
Because we're trying to go through every
Right.
single, we're going through undervotes. You guys probably don't even look
No.
at a ballot that's been undervoted, right?
No. I'm sorry, I am paying attention, I got sidetracked for a second. Did you guys already talk about what happened in the remake, or recount with this? Like, so, when that precinct or batch gets pulled, or the precinct gets pulled and selected for the recount,
Mhm.
and you don't have, like, right now, we would just take the remade ballot that we've already processed, and then scan that same ballot, and it's, how does it come through here? Do you have to go through the whole process again? Do you know how you did it the last time? Or no, you're just starting over and hoping that you